A heavy rain drummed across the lead-lined clouds above the valley as Kev Townsend stood in the doorway of the old mill, his silhouette lit by the cold yellow glow of a single hanging lamp. He clutched a slim metal box in gloved hands, his breathing shallow, his eyes flicking to the open door behind him and then to the locked door ahead. Behind those walls lay his plan. A secret, destructive final step to ensure he never lost what he believed was rightfully his. Across the village, the great farmhouse windows of Robert Sugden's residence shone with warm lamplight. Robert paced the living room, phone in hand, heart pounding. He had just discovered that Kev, his husband, had pulled something monstrous. The facade of Kev's frailty, his supposed terminal illness, his dependence on Robert was a lie. And now Robert realized the trap he had walked into. A gilded cage, tightening with every promise he made. Meanwhile, down the street at the pub, Aaron Livesey sat alone, staring at the whiskey glass in front of him. The room felt hollow. He remembered the thrill of Robert's hand in his, the late-night laughter, the reckless hope that maybe they could be together. Now those nights seemed like a cruel mirage. Aaron had seen Kev's glare when Robert appeared near him, heard Kev's quiet threat in the whisper of the void between them, and he couldn't trust Robert anymore because he feared Robert's loyalty was dangerously divided. In the dark of the mill, Kev set the box on a workbench. He opened it and withdrew a gun. Black steel, cold as the air outside. His fingers traced the barrel, his lips pressed into a resolute line. He had told himself he was acting for protection. Robert had been weak, vulnerable in prison, and Kev had saved him then. Now Robert threatened to slip away, to slip into Aaron's arms. That union would destroy Kev's hold. He would not allow it. At the same time, Robert bravely told Aaron the secret. Kev's deception, the illness that was nothing more than a leverage tool, the marriage born out of fear rather than love. Aaron's eyes burned. "You lied to me," he whispered. "You lied to us both." But Robert couldn't fully face the truth. Part of him still feared Kev. Part of him still felt indebted to the man who had kept him safe behind bars. And Kev knew that fear, used it like a blade. Another night, after the pub had emptied and the village's hush settled in, a shot rang out. The bullet ripped through the silence and found its mark in Robert's shoulder. He collapsed in the gravel, the gun clattering at his side, his breath catching in pain and betrayal. Aaron arrived seconds later, chest heaving, blood spattered on his jeans, horror in his eyes. "Robert!" he cried. "What's happened?" Robert's eyes were dark with shock. He couldn't believe the gun was real. He couldn't believe the pain. In the chaos that followed, accusations flew. The village whispered, "Who shot Robert? Was it Aaron? Was it Kev's plan?" Robert could barely answer. He knew the gun was Kev's, but could he testify? Could he risk everything? Aaron feared the worst, that the bullet meant the final severing of their broken trust. Kev watched from the shadows, a tight smile curling on his lips. The plan had exploded into life, just as he had intended. Robert injured, Aaron reeling, isolation creeping around the edges of their world. Kev would step in as the steadfast husband, the protector. He would win. He would keep what belonged to him. But in the rubble of that shot, something else stirred. Robert's anger, Aaron's resolution, the buried love neither could ignore. As Robert lay in hospital, Aaron standing guard outside the door, the real battle began. Not for possession, but for truth, for freedom, for the chance to own their own lives. And Kev, glancing at his watch, wondered at the quiet inevitability of his victory. Yet in his chest the lie he built around Robert thudded with guilt, a fatal flaw in the strongest armor. Because when the gun goes off, no one escapes unscathed.